Okay, verbal abuse. Words are seeds that germinate and bear fruits. Verbal abuse has a way of leaving people emotionally wounded or emotionally traumatized. The words said to them are constantly replaying in their subconscious states, and more often than not, it influences their behaviors and their actions. People who were verbally abused carry the hurt from that abuse and pass it to other people. Untreated emotional wounds often get transmitted to others. You find yourself transmitting or transferring that pain, that hurt, directly or indirectly to someone who did not deserve it. More often than not, it's from parents to children. Parents, please be mindful of the words you say to your children and the names you call them. Sometimes you hear parents refer to their children as slow thinker, empty head, big for nothing, horrible, lebashandi. You understand? Sometimes we are amused by the names, but they have a deeper meaning because they impact the life of the child negatively. Parents, be mindful of the words you say to your children. You have said it, but they are the people that will live with the consequences. Parents, do not corrupt the innocence of your children because, one, you had bad experiences with people. That includes friends and relatives. Sometimes we train our children to become enemies of people that never offended them. Hatred is taught. It is taught. It doesn't dwell inside you. It is an external thing that is taught. So a child that used to be close to the neighbor, they've had a good relationship for 6 to 7 years, all of a sudden stops talking. Why? Because mommy and daddy are not talking to mommy and daddy of household B. For some of us, we have fought inherited battles that we did not institute. We don't even know the source because your parents told you, you see that family there, don't ever speak to them, and you just go along with it. We corrupt their innocence when we have bad experiences with a particular tribe. Now I want to delve into marriage, because there are some households that, they will tell you that you see that tribe, don't you ever marry from them. You were not there when they fought. Let's imagine they had a bad experience with that tribe. That was their experience, not your experience. In a very slow but surely manner, we have introduced bigotry into the lives of our children, that they hate people from other tribes. We give some funny excuses for our hatred, and we corrupt the innocence of our children. And then you find a young lady that God has ordained that, you will marry from so and so tribe. But because your father, your mother said you cannot marry from this tribe, you now, give into that pressure and cheat yourself out of the blessing. Parents, stop corrupting the innocence of your children. Or this other one, you had a bad experience with the opposite gender. We've heard something like men has come. It cannot be all the men that has come. Perhaps you had a bad experience, but you generalized it, and then you corrupt the heart of innocent children. And they tell you, why do I even need a man? I don't need a man. You teach them hatred and bigotry from a tender age, and they grow up with that biased mindset. And what happens is they transmit that biased mindset to their children. We have people that they have grown up now and they are having kids, and they are repeating the same thing that their parents repeated to them. You see that tribe, don't ever have anything to do with that tribe. You see, don't marry from this place. These people are bad. You see, so and so household, my relative, they did this, they are all witches there. You have corrupted the innocence of your children. Parents, do not drive the idea that your love for your children comes with a price tag. You are putting them under pressure mentally and emotionally. They would do everything and anything to please you, just to gain acceptance, just to gain validation, just to gain approval, because there is a price tag to your love. The idea of love for your children and the people around you is based on the premise of unconditional love. It comes with no condition. If they need to do anything to, there are some people that they will need their children to go the extra mile before they tell them that, I as your father, I am proud of you. You put them under pressure. What you're doing is, slowly but surely, you are affecting their self-esteem. Most adults here will tell you that, the course that they studied, right? Most of them, if we take a statistics right now, would discover that some of the courses that they study in the university, they had no input in choosing that course. For some of the courses we studied in the university, they chose it for us. And the moment where you revolt and say you don't want to, we hear 3 or 4 common threats. Number 1, who is going to pay your school fees? Number 2, he said, except you will not live in my house. Number 3, there is no upkeep money for you. So you are forced to do their bidding, whilst you live with the consequences of the choice they have made on your behalf. Some of us have no business studying the course that we are studying now. If your child is not good in mathematics, he can excel in, human resource management. But because, let's say you want accounting, you want addition, you think that, parents, I apologize in advance, very sorry, but they are wounded children that have grown into adults, and they are wounded as adults, and if care is not taken, they will transmit that wound into their children. Most parents in Nigeria have this mindset that these 3 courses are the most important. They are high in demand and they are valuable. Number 1, law. Number 2, medicine. Number 3, banking and finance / accounting. 4, engineering. And you choose courses for your kids without actually asking them what they want to do in life, what subject or course lies their strength, because you assume that these four courses I've mentioned, or 5 courses, they are in high demand and they are very valuable. I heard of a very funny story of a man that the father forced to read law, and what happened was, he did the law, he was called to bar, took the certificate, gave it to his father, and said, I have made you happy. Now I can start my life. I did what you wanted. Because more often than not, when we force them and threaten them, they will do our bidding, but they grow up resenting us. And you see that resentment, it stays with them. Because what you have just told them is that, 1, they don't have a choice of their own. 2, their happiness does not matter at all. So they grow up with that, and then they transmit it to their children. In most cases, they do our bidding and they suffer for it. Yet when you now see their results, you begin to blame them. You don't have you're an empty head. The people that are getting all A's. You need to understand every child has where their strength and their weaknesses lies. Listen, our job as parents is to provide guidance, not to insist on our opinion. When your child or your son or your daughter comes to you and tells you, okay, this is what I want to read, your own is to provide guidance for the person. Whether you are doing fishery, whether you are doing animal husbandry, whatever it is that you are doing, for as long as God is involved, He will bless it. So success does not lie alone in engineering, in law, in medicine, in computer science, in banking and finance, in accounting. For as long as they are covenant children, whatever they do will prosper, as long as God's hand is in it. Parents, please support your children genuinely and let them express themselves or themselves in their full capacity. Sometimes we limit the potential and the capacity of a child because the idea of family business is beating into them. Listen, there are some people that family business is good for them. They would inherit it and they would prosper, but it's not in all cases. And we find out in most cases that the family business crumbles when the child inherits it. Why? He was forced to do so because there was no passion for it. It's good to ask them, but sometimes we ask with threats. Say, you know you're going to inherit this business anyways. And they say, no, you don't want to inherit this business? They tell you no. Where do you think I got your school fees from? Where do you think I paid for, your vacation? And you say you don't want to. Now the child is now forced to agree because there is an underlying threat to it. Did you ever consider, you that you're talking, no offense, did you inherit your father? No. It is very important that these are important questions we ask our children. What exactly do you want to become in life? Are you interested? That is the question you ask them. Are you interested in the line of business that we are doing? And if they say they are not interested, you ask them, what is your passion? You don't force them. If you force them, they will crumble it on purpose. Parents, do not break the spirits of your children because you are emotionally broken. Heal completely.